It'll be one to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy, coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, 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 dig, 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 go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Go ahead, sir, then we'll go to Marty. Go ahead.
John Bryant, the Focus out of Broadheadsville. Jeff, you've been around long enough to use both tires when they had the Hoosiers and the Goodyear. And obviously, Firestone has been building a tire for Indy for years. What's your opinion on having multiple tires?
I think it's a huge mistake. I think multiple tires are there's the negatives far outweigh the positives. I believe that for racing to be as good as it can be, that every team should have access to the same tire. And I don't think that having different tires is, I don't think that in any form or fashion does that make the racing better. If the race turns into a battle of tires, how does that make better racing? I don't think it does at all. In the case that we had at Indy last week, you could make the case that if another tire manufacturer was there, maybe they would have had something that wouldn't have those problems. But the problem with that would have been that half of the field wouldn't have had the other problems and the other half would have. So I don't believe that dueling tire manufacturers is in the best interest of what we try to do here as a sport. What we try to do here as a sport is to put on the best races for the fans. It's not about trying to build the most technology. The process is to put the best race on for the fans. So in our type of racing, a two-tire situation is, in my opinion, is mostly a negative.
Go ahead, Marty.
What should the Goodyear tire testing policy or what should it look like? When
Right.
Goodyear goes to test the tire and invites teams there, what should it look like?
Well, I think that every situation is different. We did a test last January, or maybe it was December. As a matter of fact, it was December. I was part of a test that went to Vegas, and a tire test was conducted at Vegas that produced a phenomenal tire. That test produced a tire that everybody, well, everybody's never happy, but that most people really liked. That same process and procedures produced the tire that we had at Indy. What we have to do is we have to find a way for Indy to build a tire that we don't have to rely on the track rubbering up to keep from having a problem. The problem with that is what I said earlier, that it's not going to drive good. So I don't know that the testing, the actual track testing, is where the emphasis needs to be put on. The emphasis needs to be put on the testing that is done away from the track, because you can do so much more away from the track than you can at the track. So the technology that Goodyear has access to and the technology that Goodyear needs to develop needs to be more concentrated, in my opinion, on what they can do from a simulation standpoint, from a way to the racetrack standpoint, because you can get so much more done there. Again, the test procedure that they have, I'm not opposed to, because I've seen it work. But when you do a test and they bring 3 or 4 sets of tires, that's really all you have to pick from. If none of those work, then you don't have a solution. So finding a way to build the tires correctly before they ever come to a test, to me, that's where the technology needs to be invested, and that's when, if we're going to talk about how to do tire testing, that's more important than the actual testing itself, as seen by me.
We've got time for maybe 2 more. We've got one here, and then we're going to take young Travis here. Go ahead.
Jeff, this, not to keep beating this same tire horse, but I'm thinking about 1994, I think it was. You were heavily involved with the tire war.
I was.
I think you and Ward finished second and third. Is that how it went?
We finished toward the front. I don't remember what it was, but I remember
with Hoosier tires, and then the result, I guess, was that we went to exclusivity with Goodyear. Could you talk a little about what it was like? I heard people ask about getting another tire company. What were some things that happened that you remember about that period of time? And
well, there was an inequality because Goodyear had the majority of the teams. The Hoosier had 4 or 5 teams. We tested every week. The Hoosier teams, we tested all the time. We had way more information than the Goodyear teams had because we had less teams. So whenever Hoosier wanted to test, we were, there were only 3 or 4 teams, 5 teams to pick from. So you tested a lot. The Goodyear guys didn't get a chance to test a lot. The tire failure rates went up. As seen by me, my memory, my recollection is that the tire failure rates went up. We had more catastrophic tire failures. We had people that had contracts with one tire manufacturer or the other. So people, even if the Hoosier was, the Hoosiers lapped the field at North Wilkesboro, for gosh sakes. Lapped the field at North Wilkesboro. If you were a Hoosier team, to be perfectly honest, I almost won Atlanta in my 4th race as a Cup driver because the tires were so much better. The Hoosier tires, when they were better and you were one of the few that had them, boy, they let you shine. But at the end of the day, it was for the sport. It wasn't. I didn't see where it was a good thing at all. It cut our cost as because Hoosier was. I don't 100% know, but I believe we had a pretty good tire deal with Hoosier. But ultimately, I'm just not a proponent of that. I don't think that 2 tire manufacturers is the way to go. I just think that I just don't believe it's the right thing to do.
Final question, right here.
Yeah, Jeff, I wondered if you could give kind of a report card for RCR at this point in the year. I know we've seen teams like Hendrick kind of ride out a wave of momentum last year. Gibbs seems to have that this year. Where do you think Childress fits in that wave?
I think we're behind, if a little bit. I don't think that we're grossly behind, but if you look at the speed that Jimmy and his guys produce from time to time, the speed that Kyle and his guys have been able to produce, we haven't been able to do that. So I think we do really good in a lot of areas, but we've got to find a way to create some speed. We're a solid company. We do a lot of things really well. We're always striving to do it better. I'm really proud to be part of RCR. We've been very competitive over the last 3 years, but I think it's fair to say numbers don't lie. And if you look at what and I'm saying Jimmy because he's standing here, and but if you look at Jimmy and what they've been able to do, and they've set a really high standard that's hard to keep up with. So we're a little behind them, but again, I believe we can get there, but it's going to be a lot of work and a lot of effort. But right now we're a touch behind.
Thanks a lot, Jeff. Good luck this weekend. We appreciate you stopping by.